All right, folks. Good afternoon. Going to be doing a walk and talk today, asking a question. Now, we've seen the performance of the Biden administration over the last couple months. Make no mistake about it, Biden's economy has been dismal. Inflation is through the roof. None of us like to go get gas because of what we're paying at the pump. However, I'm going to be asking a question today. The poll numbers for President Biden are up. Inflation is coming down, so are prices at the pump. But the question I'm going to be asking today, regardless of what party you affiliate with, should President Biden be reelected by the Democrats? Is he the man to send back to the top of the ticket in 2024? Now, see, right off the bat, let me stop it. Whose name is that? Hello, something says hell no. But let's keep in mind. Let me give it to you this way. What if the Republicans send Trump back? Biden has beat Trump once in the past. So we know that Biden is capable of beating President Trump. Would you not suggest sending back the same guy to do the job again? Or I guess we could rephrase the question and ask, if it came down to a Biden and Trump competition for the 2024 nomination, do you think Trump would beat him? Or do you think Biden could take him on a second time? Just wondering about that. Good afternoon, folks. I'm reading the comments real quick. Hey, from Arizona. Good afternoon to you, Kenneth. If you don't want Biden, don't pick Trump. I like that. I really like that comment. Looking at Biden all the way. Wow. Okay. So folks are suggesting that if it came down to President Biden versus President Trump, Biden Trump part two, that Biden could indeed be very competitive, if not defeat President Trump again. Keep in mind, there are a lot of folks who believe he never defeated him the first time. Okay, fair enough. All right, let me go to the box. I'm real curious to see what's going on in the box. EGK, I'm back to the program, doing a walk and talk. Talking about if Biden deserves a second term. B, good afternoon.
What up, big dog? You remember me?
Yes, I do.
Hi. What's up, bro?
None at all. Biden part two. Biden Trump part two. Do you think Biden would beat him again?
Hey, after what we went through for the past 4 years, almost 4 years, nah, Biden ain't got no shot. No way,
What,
Jose. No.
well, Biden has only been president for maybe about a little bit of close to 2 years. So when you say what we went through for the last 4 years, you're including the last 2 years of Trump.
Nah, almost past 4 years.
Yeah,
Cause we getting
the
close.
last 4 years, we've had two of Trump and two of Biden. So I don't get the
Hey,
point you're making.
but think about it. Do you feel like that election was rigged?
Rigged in favor of.
Biden.
No, because we didn't do an investigation of all 50 states. We don't know if the election was rigged in Texas or not. They never investigated Texas. We only did an investigation in 7 states. How could you say it's rigged in favor of Biden if you don't know what went on in the other 43 states?
Cause if they know what, man, if they find out what really happened, man, they don't find out Trump should have won. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm going to tell you you're wrong based on lack of knowledge. How would you know Trump should have won if you don't know what happened in the states that Trump won? Trump won Texas. How do you know that that wasn't rigged in Texas? How are we just going to assume that the states that Trump won did the election properly?
Of course.
2,000 mil.
Of
Why?
course.
Why would you
Of
do that?
course.
Why would you do that?
Because any other states that Biden won and that we did not do an investigation was rigged. Because Trump should have won. Come on, now you
Okay,
already know it. Come
okay,
on,
wait a
liberal.
minute. Okay, you're saying Trump should have won. What leads you to believe Trump should have won?
Trump is the best president there ever was. Other than George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, all them other presidents. Yeah.
That's a hell of an accolade.
And hey, JFK.
Give me. Wait a minute.
JFK
Wait,
was a
sir.
solid president. He got assassinated. R.I.P. JFK. He got
Give
unalive.
me give me three accomplishments that place Trump right under George Washington as the best president. Give me three of his best
I
accomplishments.
said almost to George Washington. He can't do nothing compared to George.
Exactly. I said
Yeah.
I said right under George Washington. If Trump is right
Hey,
under George
okay.
Washington, give me three accomplishments.
In this recent generation, I'm gonna say one of them. The unemployment rate went down. You know. Second of all,
Okay.
my opinion is Trump is 40 people. He's not one of them other people
That's not an
that's from.
accomplishment. That's an opinion. Give
It
me three
is a
things he
constant.
actually
Hey, think
did.
about it. Think about it. Would you rather have a president up there right now that barely can walk, talk, and see, and only says what he's told to say, or you want a president up there like Donald J. Trump is gonna say what he
Okay.
want to say. Is gonna say
Okay.
what he needs to say
Yeah.
for the people.
B, I get your point. I want a president that's pro America. I get your point. But I said an accomplishment. Being pro America is not an accomplishment. Give me three accomplishments.
Ain't lie, he should have built that wall. That would have been another one. But hey, the wall
Okay, so that
fell.
didn't happen. Like
It
you
didn't
said, he
happen.
should have
Hey,
did
I'm
it.
saying, hey, listen, I'm saying it should. Man, just think if that wall was built, man, you know what?
Okay. I get your point. You favor the wall, but I'm still having a hard time getting three actual accomplishments from you from what is the best president under George Washington. Give me three accomplishments. Take your time. Take your time.
Hell yeah, shit.
Take your time. Okay, so you
Hey,
don't
hey,
have
let's go back to the question, man. Don't do me like that. Let's come back to the question.
Hey, I'm not doing you like that. You did you like that. I'm only letting you speak. I give you free speech. I just ask a question and let you say whatever you want. You said the man is the best president right under George Washington. I didn't do you
And
like that.
Abraham Lincoln.
You did you like that. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, I got a question. Wait, you don't support Trump, no?
I don't think that we need, as you guys call the mean tweets. I don't think that's in the best interest of the country.
You don't think so?
No, no, I do not.
I mean, damn. I'm trying to think.
Okay,
I mean, you not lying. We don't need it. You're not lying, but
no. I
think
think we
about
need a
it.
president. I think we need a president that actually listens to the people. If you think Trump was the right man for the job, that's fine. But at the end of the day, what I think a lot of folks fail to realize, including Trump himself, particularly MAGA, is that the president works for us. It's not the other way around. We don't work for him. I don't care how dumb you think something is. If your boss is telling you to do that and you don't do that, you're not going to keep your job. So if we're telling you the tweets are bad and you need to stop them, and you respond with fuck your feelings or pay attention to what I do, not what I say, you're not going to keep your job. Does that not make sense? You're on mute, B. Looking in
No,
the
I got
comments.
you. I'm listening to you.
Okay.
I
All right.
got you. I just
Does
got.
that not
I'm
make
doing.
sense to you? The president
Nah,
works for us, not the other way around.
you right. You right. But
Okay.
sometimes you got to think about where he came from. Trump was a businessman before.
Well, he's a
Hold on. Let me come
businessman,
back. I
and
got
now
something
he
going
is
on in
in
front of me. Hold on.
Mar-a-Lago. Now
Hey,
he's in
I gotta drop
Mar-a-Lago. He
down
can
real
be.
quick. Hold on. I gotta drop down. Let me come back up. I
Okay.
got something going on. Hold on. Let me
All right.
see.
All right. Come on back through again. Oh, in regards to that gentleman stating that Trump is a businessman, that's fine. He can be a businessman in Mar-a-Lago. But if you're in the office, you work for the people. It's not the other way around. I'm not going to blow over here too long. I'm going to go right back to the box. Bring facts. Good afternoon. He's coming up, and he virtually did everything he set out to do. Okay, that's fine. He set out to send mean tweets too. Bring facts. Good afternoon. Bring facts. Can you hear me? Okay, we have a caller here, but I'm not getting any. I'll give you a couple seconds here sort of get things straight. Real quick in the comments, Joanne says Trump is a con man, a thief, and a liar. Wow. I'd like to
Yeah,
know.
I would go that far too. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What did you say?
No, I'm saying like the person that said that Trump accomplished practically virtually everything he promised. No, Hands down. No, he didn't. Trump actually he tried to give the veneer that he accomplished these things. Like for instance, claiming that he was going to build a new border wall. He built several. He built a few hundred miles of it. But the thing is, it was just updating the thing that they do anyway. And he tried to take credit for doing things that he didn't actually do. Then on top of that, his tax cuts were 83% of it was for the top 1%. Those tax cuts were permanent, but the ones for the middle class, they end after 10 years. All right.
Yeah,
83%.
I'm aware of that. That's awful. I am aware of that. Keep going.
Then on top of that, you have the issues regarding Trump being in violation of the Emoluments Clause. From the very get-go, the Emoluments Clause is basically so that the person can't get personally enriched from the presidency while in office from foreign powers. Donald Trump had a hotel right outside, right off
Right.
the track from the White House. Foreign dignitaries will buy out entire floors of that. They bring over 20 people, they buy out a whole floor, and then they meet with the president. That's in violation of the Emoluments Clause. Then on top of that, he enriched himself through his golfing at his own resorts to the tune of $255 million. That's a very specific number. We know this because it was tracked by the Secret Service, the IRS, and oddly enough, by the actual Congressional Budget Office. All right.
Right.
All right. He had to admit this.
Okay.
He's a natural. So the thing, then on top of that, all right, the biggest issue that I had with Donald Trump was the constant lying.
Give me some
All right.
examples.
All right. Claiming that he created the Veterans Choice Program. Veterans Choice Program is basically a program within the VA healthcare system that allows for veterans, since they can't or don't want to get healthcare at the VA hospital, they can go to an outside provider and it's paid for through the VA. That was created by
Are you
Obama.
suggesting, I was just about to say that you're suggesting that was already in place when Trump got elected?
Yes, it's because it was in place since it started in 2010. It was finally ratified by both chambers in 2014.
You did your
Obama
homework.
created it, showed its efficacy, and then it finally got passed in 2014. Was
Well,
Donald Trump president in 2014? No.
yeah, one of Trump's popular slogans is "promises made, promises kept." So you're suggesting that that is not true?
I can literally substantiate that it's not true. Donald Trump literally had one legislative victory in his entire time in office, and it was a
Which
tax cut
is
for the
tax cuts.
tax
Okay.
cut. Everything
Well,
else was either an executive order or it was something that was actually done by another branch of our government. It was literally
well,
somebody else did it, and all it is that as a function of our government, he had to sign off on it. That's
let
it.
me ask you this: Did you see the debates with him and I believe he was debating with Hillary Clinton, and he
No,
stated that if he won, he would be appointing pro-life Supreme Court justices, and he believed that soon after that happened, Roe versus Wade would be returned or would be rolled back. Do you give him any credit for meeting that promise?
I'll give him that. I'll give him that. He did do
Okay.
that. The thing is, in order to do it, he had to actually do more lies.
How so?
Okay, regarding Amy Coney Barrett. Amy Coney Barrett, Neil Gorsuch,
Oh, you
and
mean they lied during? You mean they lied during
they
during
lied
the
during the
appointment period?
confirmation. And then the thing
Yeah.
is, in order to actually get them, he had to appoint incredibly unqualified Supreme Court justices in order to do so, or at least one of them. Think about this: you and I. Are you a lawyer?
No.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm a doctor. All right.
Okay.
You and
All
I
right.
have
What
more
practice?
trial
I'm curious. What practice, if you will?
emergency medicine.
Okay. All right. Continue.
All right. You and I have more trial experience than Amy Coney Barrett.
Are you serious? What's
She,
making you say? Go
she has never tried a case ever. She has never appeared in the court in defense of or prosecuting anyone. She's never been a judge, but she was a religious zealot who scrubbed her entire history, and Donald Trump and his staff helped her to do so. Because she was part of several organizations that literally are Christian theocracy, like proponents. And she scrubbed her from all of their social media, their online footprints with photos, documents, everything, as soon as she was a nominee.
When some of the things you're saying, and even Adam Kinzinger on the January 6th hearings, Representative Adam Kinzinger said something similar, that after Trump's presidency, they are probably going to end up suggesting laws and different things so that some of the things he did cannot happen from a future president. Meaning that a lot of stuff the president does was kind of on the honor system. And I guess he's alluded to the belief that Trump had no honor or something of that nature, and he abused that. But
I mean,
he's saying that they're going to probably end up passing laws so that, like for instance, the president being able to pardon himself, there should be a solid law preventing that from happening. But on the honor system, you never thought a
actually,
president would even try to do something like that. So,
well, the
could you
wording
see
of the
something like that
pardon
happening?
power, the wording of the pardon power says it has to be bestowed upon someone else. All right. Now,
Right.
yes, one precluding them from being able to pardon themselves. Yes, that should be, but it never really came up because it didn't come because Nixon resigned and then his former vice president pardoned him. So
Okay. He had four.
you didn't
Yeah.
have to
What
actually do
about
that.
this? Let me ask you this comment. I get some interesting comments. KC Ohio is suggesting that Trump is currently still the commander in chief. He's still president. How do you view stuff like that? I hear that a lot on my show. What do you
Well,
do with that?
well, Trump has already admitted that he's not the current president by taking the presidential pension.
Good point. Good point. I hear it all the time, though, and I see in the comments Casey is backing it up, saying he is. As soon as Biden started the wars, wait a minute, what does this
But
say?
war
The
didn't
Maury
start.
show. As soon as Biden started, the war started. What about the notion that we may be headed toward a civil war? I read an article that suggested 40% of
No,
Americans. You don't think so?
no. Oh no, no, definitely
Did you
not.
see Biden's speech? Did you see Biden's
Yep.
speech a few days ago?
Yeah.
Did that speech not look okay? You're saying no, but I want to ask you this: did that speech not look like he was potentially prepping us for a future Trump indictment?
I think that it'd be kind of silly not to. Currently at this very moment, Donald Trump is being investigated for espionage, tax fraud, bank fraud, wire fraud, and election crimes in the state of Georgia. That is
And
for
that's
the
not,
time
and that's
being.
not even. You're not
Yeah,
even discussing January 6th, the coup part.
not even. I'm not even getting into that because usually that becomes a whole rabbit hole of having to deal with folks that because if we talk about that, it just gets a little crazy. They
Right.
start claiming
Right.
crazy things like that it was just a tour, it was
I love that.
Antifa. Yeah, they tell us things. So when it comes to this, Garland is going to get Trump easily regarding espionage. Whether or not he ends up in jail or not, I don't know. But he will definitely be in serious trouble regarding that. All right, then because there's no precedent for actually incarcerating a former president. Maybe them losing their
Okay.
law license or something like that, sure, but not, you know. But the thing is,
No,
Donald
so
Trump.
you don't think it's likely that Trump is going to end up behind bars?
Oh no, no, it's possible. It's possible. I would actually, if you had asked me this 2 months ago, I wouldn't actually say that it was likely, but I'd say that
Okay.
all those things. This is the thing. They're going to get him on some of it, and they're going to get him on some of it, and all of them come with serious jail time, especially the espionage portion. And the sad part is the reason that it comes with serious consequences regarding the espionage is that Donald Trump is the one that made it.
But do you? I guess, man,
He's the one who made it a felony.
having an American president actually being involved in espionage-like activities is a difficult pill to swallow. I guess I'd have to ask: do you really believe he's guilty of this?
Is he what? Do I think he's guilty of it? Yes, we know this
Yeah, I
for a
got
fact.
someone mowing.
Oh
I
yeah,
got
we
someone
know
mowing their lawn behind me.
Well,
Go ahead.
we know portions of it for a fact. For instance, months ago, almost a year ago, that the entertainer Kid Rock did an interview with Tucker Carlson where they were going on where it's basically a big Trump isn't here, but we're going to talk all we're going to do a love fest about Trump, right? About a year ago.
Okay.
During this interview, Kid Rock stated that when he visited Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, he saw these documents, and he was like, "Am I supposed to even be here? Am I allowed to do this? This doesn't seem like it's
Wow.
all that kosher and everything." And then he got this while they were doing, and it should have been in the skiff, but it was done right there out in the little dais where everybody could see and everything. That
Uh-huh.
alone.
Wow.
And the thing
I
is,
didn't.
these types of things, the documents themselves, they came several times. This is the thing. If I had a buddy when I was in the army, all right, when I was in the army, all right, Christopher
Okay.
Graham, all right, he and I were in Fifth Special Forces group together. He was a weapons sergeant, I was a medical sergeant at the time, and he lost his security clearance simply because he got a ginormous, really big inheritance from his father when his father passed away. He got like $30 million. All right.
They thought it might have came
And
from something else.
no, no, no. But the thing is, at first they did because he bought a nice truck. He had a really nice condo in Nashville. All right. Well, he had a loft technically in Nashville. All that type of stuff. He had a lot of money. And he wasn't touching his military pay, and that seemed like it was somehow they were worried at first, and they basically cut his security clearance. Two got involved, and they did an investigation. Found out he didn't do anything wrong. He just inherited some money, and some of us knew, but nobody asked us.
Oh,
We knew about it, but he didn't notify the
right,
army because why would it be a big deal? All right.
right.
He
Oh, wow.
inherited some money and he lost his security clearance
And
and
that was enough
he
just on suspicion. But once again, obviously, he wasn't the president, so Trump is getting a little
that's
bit
what
more
makes it
privilege for
worse.
that. But
That's what makes
listen,
it worse.
okay, all
That
right. Well, I
Donald
do got
Trump
to
is
move it on. I'll give you the
no
last one. I
problem.
do got to move the program on. But wow, that's yeah. Trump is getting some privilege because of the nature of his job, though.
Yeah, but the thing about this is that people don't get this. Donald Trump is not the president anymore, and he keeps
Yeah,
behaving as if he is. He is
yeah.
recently. He just did the other day. He did a rally where he literally thought that he said that Mark Zuckerberg met me last week at the White House.
That's all that. I don't understand why a man that thinks that's pissed off about getting banned everywhere would go out there and deliberately take on a social media giant like Mark Zuckerberg. But he
Well,
certainly said the guy kissed his ass and everything.
Trump's an idiot. All right. Trump is good at marketing and everything, but no joke. Like on a basic level, I've met the man 3 times in my life. I'm not saying that I know him, but I've met him.
Yeah.
My uncle actually does. All right. He's actually the head of, he's actually a vice president. Well, technically, he's a president of IT for Citigroup. All right. And this was at a meeting at one of his resort in New Jersey and everything. And I was there with my uncle. And I watched Donald Trump get his butt kissed by a bunch of people. And the entire time, everyone was essentially dumbing themselves down in order to basically protect his fragile ego. They had to repeatedly pretend not to understand concepts that were pretty basic, but that Donald Trump himself was obviously kind of flustered, or he won't even admit that he didn't know. He was essentially requiring everyone to defer to him, even on topics that were their expertise, they have degrees in, and he has not just limited, but zero knowledge. Like he didn't understand the name of it, that sort of thing. You know, those type of people, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I've been
all right.
around him. Not him, but
And,
I've been around folks like that.
so one of the things is, I remember my uncle actually telling me, it was my Uncle Devlin. He actually said that it seems like, Donald is the dumbest man in every room unless his children are present.
Wow. All right, big facts. I got to move it on.
All right, man. You take it
Hey,
easy.
good talk. Absolutely. You too. Enjoy your holiday. Uh, Real quick, listen, I understand I got viewers from both sides of the aisle. Does Donald Trump have a big ego? I think everyone would unanimously agree on that. Is he a dumb guy? Yours truly, a humble correspondent. I'm not going to buy that. I don't believe anyone. Yeah, appreciate the hat mustache. I always love that. I'm going to have a hard time agreeing with that one point because I don't believe anyone reaches the pinnacle of success that President Trump has reached by being dumb. Maybe conniving, if you want to say he's a con man or you want to say something like that, or that's possible. Bernie Madoff. may he rest in peace, reached an incredible amount of wealth by conning people. But that doesn't mean he was dumb. So I don't buy that Trump is dumb. I would maybe be willing to entertain some other adjectives, but not dumb. Looking in the comments, he signs his name with a Sharpie. What about old fashioned? Patriot Rep. Appreciate you guys to move the program on. Patriot Rep. Good
Hey,
afternoon.
what's up, my
Happy
man?
holidays.
Good to see you again. Good to see you again.
Always,
Always.
always a pleasure. Should we send Biden back to the top of the ticket in 2024, regardless of what side of the aisle
I
you're
mean,
on? Do you think that would be a good idea?
I'm not, I mean, I, I don't think he would even know he's running in 2024 if he said he was. You know what I mean? I don't, I've seen shake
Yeah,
hands
but
with too many invisible people for me to believe it.
but did you see his speech a couple of nights ago?
Yes, and I think that's more of a not so much of a Civil War act, but that's more of like a scare tactic, like a Nazi type. Uh, the way the soldiers were in the back, the dark red and black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very. He wants it to be intimidating, and
But how could the question I want to ask, and I saw the speech as well, it did have a demonic appearance to it, but I have to ask if the man has dementia, as you say, does not even know where he's at and cannot string together two sentences, how the hell did that speech happen so clearly?
well, there are enhancing drugs that one can take. I mean, there are such things as that. You know what I
They
mean?
work
Uh,
they work that well?
Well, I mean, nothing worked well on him. I mean, come on. I mean, he didn't go from zero to hero by far. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, he,
Real quick in the comments, True Rican Pride, you said you questioned my statement of demonic appearance. Yeah, I mean, did you see the lighting? The guy standing there, the Marine standing there like statues. I'm not saying that I disagree with the speech, but yeah, it did look quite demonic. That's just my point. Go ahead there, Patriot.
but yeah, I just, he was asked that one guy what accomplishments Donald Trump did. I'll give you some. I mean,
Sure.
he increased funding for the HBCUs by what 13-14%. You know
Okay.
what I
But
mean?
do you but
That
do
that's
you put him up there? Do you put him right under George Washington?
No, no, I don't put him under
Okay.
George Washington, but
Morning.
I think he was.
Afternoon.
I don't like his tweets, of course, like nobody does. We're all human. We all say things. We all do things. You've said worse than he has. I've said worse than he has, but he just puts it out there on Front Street. But I
Yeah.
mean, there was no. I mean, he strengthened the peace with North Korea. He strengthened the peace with Russia. There was no. We were energy independent. We were the lowest crime rate actually before the 8 prior years in Obama era. Uh, I mean, what didn't he accomplish? He's talking about the guy that said we were building walls. No, he didn't build the walls like that. And now, did he get the Mexican to pay for him? I don't know about that. I'm not
Well, I
saying,
got a couple. Let me offer a couple counterpoints. First of all, when you suggest that he strengthened our relationship with North Korea and Russia,
peace, peace, not relationship, just
okay,
peace.
whatever the case may you want to make, when Kim Jong Un came to the White House, within 6 months, he was already back in North Korea lobbing missiles over Japan. So I don't see how that strengthened the peace. And obviously, you see what Russia is doing with the Ukrainians. So
We never
is it
once lobbed a missile over Japan. Now, they might have been the missiles that went towards that direction, but nothing ever went over top of Japan. Let's make sure that's clear.
okay? I'm actually under a different. My analysis says he did fire what Trump referred to as medium range missiles, is why he said he wasn't outraged anymore. But if I'm correct, he did fire them over Japan. But also, look at what happened with Russia. They were in the Ukraine shortly after Trump left office. If you strengthen peace with nations and that peace disappears the moment you leave office, then you didn't really strengthen peace with that nation.
Yeah, I mean, he took us out of NATO, got us away from that, made Chinese pay their fair share. You
You
know what I
think
mean?
You think getting us out of NATO is a good idea?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
How does that, let me ask you, in terms of all of our allies and a lot of folks in Western Europe being afraid of Russia potentially encroaching on their sovereign territory, how does any of the free world benefit from America leaving NATO?
Who's encroaching on Russia? Ukraine?
No, no one.
Right. I mean, supposedly Russia's trying to take back what was already theirs during the USSR. You know what I mean? Ukraine was part of the USSR.
Right.
You
But
know,
that's the USSR is similar to the European Union or the United States. It's not.
so
You
who are we
don't.
to determine? Who are we to determine their right to take back California per se? You know what I mean? I mean
Okay.
that's like somebody come over here and telling us we can't have Florida no more.
Well, we recognized the Ukraine as an independent nation before Russia did that, just like we recognized Taiwan as an independent nation. So at this point, if China decides, well, I want to reclaim Taiwan, we're going to look at that as an attack, not that they're reclaiming it, because we've already recognized that as an independent country.
That's true, but who wants missiles after that's what people got to realize. Why doesn't Russia want Ukraine to be part of NATO? Why? Because once they're part of NATO, anybody, we Americans can put rockets and missiles right there on the border of Russia.
I
Now, you
agree
know
with
what I
that.
mean?
I
And
agree with
now,
that.
so we didn't want to do that, but now,
But
now we are.
how does speaking in favor of Russia measures up to America first? If you're for America first, then you would want us to be able to put missiles in Ukraine because that benefits America.
No, no, we need to get out of everybody else's business. What you mean? I mean, you know what I mean? That's a problem. How many Russian embassies do you see? How many you see?
None.
None. Now
None.
we've got them in every country around the world.
True.
We're all up in everybody's business, and now we're aiding them and not worrying about ourselves under this administration. We are aiding
Okay.
other countries more than we are taking care of ourselves.
All right. Now that I don't necessarily argue with. I'm just simply what to
How
me
could
what's
you?
shocking is what's shocking though is that under the Bush administration, which most MAGA over the age of 50 voted for George W. Bush also, Trump has made you guys turn an about face. That's what I don't understand. Is because he's making you go against policies and politicians that you normally thought were awesome. How does that work?
He's not making us go against politicians. The politicians are making us go against the politicians. I mean, well, I
Wait
mean,
a minute. You're telling me without Trump in office, you guys still would have had a problem with John McCain or George W. Bush or Jeb Bush. You guys still would not have liked him even if Trump did not come along.
well, I mean,
Liz Cheney.
you're categorizing me because you guys, well, you Republicans.
Yeah.
You're just talking about Republicans in general.
You telling me Republicans, if Trump had not come along, Republicans would have still disliked Liz Cheney the same way they dislike her now.
I'm not going to say I disagree with that. I can't say that you're wrong. I don't know. I don't know how we would feel. I know that if things were going the same way they are now, whether Trump was here or not, man, I mean, I would dislike the people in power. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody in this administration doing anything. I mean, when Nancy Pelosi's salary is 196,000 a year, and she now has $192 million. I mean, something's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that part, but I will submit to you that Trump has made it so that you guys do not like folks who used to be your heroes. Like I said, John McCain, Mitch McConnell, Liz Cheney, Jeb Bush was on his way to being a nominee. All of a sudden, now you guys hate him. You hate the Reagan family, the Bush family, the McCain family, the Romney. That doesn't make sense to me. And the only thing these people have in common is not that they're leaders, not that they're making a bunch of money. The problem is they have run afoul of President Trump. The minute you run afoul of President Trump, your whole career is in jeopardy, including Mike Pence, who you guys MAGA, not you guys, but who MAGA overwhelmingly favored until the election. Now all of a sudden you don't like Mike Pence. So that's my point, is that you're turning your back on people simply because it almost appears as if just because Trump told you to.
Well, because they did. Yeah, I mean that is the case, but a lot of it is because most of them should be doing something that Trump's telling them to do, and they shouldn't. For me, right now, I call most of them Republicans.
What
You know what
about
I mean?
Mike
They're not
Pence? What about Mike
Republicans.
Pence? What about Mike Pence? You think
I
Mike
think
Pence
Mike.
got treated wrong?
Uh, I think he. My assumption of that is Mike Pence. I believe in the Constitution as I read it every day, and my belief and my understanding, he had the power to stop it, but and I don't. I think there was so much weight on Mike Pence's shoulders that he didn't want to be that guy to make that decision. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for Mike Pence. I don't hate Mike Pence. I think that he had overwhelming weight on his shoulders in J6. I do.
So, how do you feel about your former president Trump treating him so horribly, saying so many awful things about him, if you realize he had a hell of a lot of weight on his shoulders? And by the way, Chris Christie wrote in his book, Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey stated that Mike Pence did indeed try to fulfill Trump's wishes, but was told by his advisors and the courts that he could not do it.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of things been wrote out, and we don't know the truth of any of it. I mean, they didn't want nothing. Somebody can write a report saying this, somebody can write a report saying that. We don't know what happened, what Mike Pence was told to do and not to do. Just like the raid in Mar-a-Lago, man, they didn't want no information out there. Took them 9 days to lay out a couple pieces of paper on the floor and show the American people something that looked so stupid.
Well,
I mean, they're
is
hurting
it
themselves.
possible? Is it possible a president could say that they won by a landslide and that not be true?
Yeah, but I mean, if that's true, I mean, if that's true, let's just say he won, or let's say he didn't win. Where are the Biden supporters? I know you're a liberal. There are some, but I mean, I'm talking about every football game, every car race, everywhere he goes, even at his own conventions, the time that he sets up his own events, people are just heckling him, man. Where are his 80 million people at? Where are they?
Well, that's a good question. If I had to answer that, I would tell you I don't think he has supporters. There are Trump haters. I would say out of the 80 million people that voted for Biden, probably at least a quarter to a third of them were simply voting against Trump and didn't give a shit who Biden was at all.
So to go to your original question, then, with that being said out of your mouth, what do you
Mhm.
think would happen in 2024?
I don't think Trump would win. I really
You,
don't think he would win again
I
because
mean,
I don't
after everything
believe.
that's going on,
Yeah, because Trump has not remained silent. If Trump had did what Biden did in 2020, when Trump was screwing up and saying all kinds of horrible things, and the Republicans were saying, "Well, Biden is hiding in his basement." That's what you do when your opponent is screwing up. You don't need to say anything; just let them keep talking. And that's what I believe Trump should be doing right now with the economy the way it is, inflation horrible, gas prices are way up. Don't say anything. Just
what do
let
you
this man continue doing what he's doing, and then you can run. But when you got certain, at this point, Trump has said and attacked so many people, has so many scandals still orbiting around him that yeah, I don't think he could be. I don't think he would be assured of a win over Biden at all because he still has stayed very scandalous in the off season.
Well, let me ask you this: if let's just say, I mean, one poll says one thing, one poll says another, but we
Sure.
see 95 out of 98 um, people that Trump's endorsed has won the primaries. So he's doing a remarkable rate.
Right.
Let's just say the the Republicans take back the House here in
Right.
November. What do you think is going to happen? You see people going to jail. I mean, I've heard Donald Trump going to jail since 2016. You know what I mean?
No.
And I'll
I
hear it
think
again in
that yeah,
2036.
That's a fair.
2040.
I gotta move it on, but I gotta move it on soon. But I'll say this: if Trump were to take back the Senate, I think it would be very beneficial to him. Just like I've said before, I believe that Hunter Biden may have some legitimate issues, but as long as his dad is president, it's not going to go anywhere. That's the same
Right.
thing with Trump. People suggest, well, Trump beat the impeachments; it was a witch hunt. No, he had a Republican Senate that helped him out. So yeah, if he wins the Senate, a lot of this shit's probably going to go away because they're going to help him out. I'll give you the last word, though, Patriot. I got to move it on.
No, man. The last word is, man. Look, we all want better. We all want better,
Right.
whether it is Democratic, whether it's Republicans, and right now, Democrats is not happening for us at all. Not me, not you, not anybody. I'm not picking on any certain person, and I don't even hate Joe Biden because I feel sorry for that man because he don't even know what's going on. It's the people behind him running the show that is going to have to be held accountable. But for everybody, we want peace. That's what we want. We want peace. We want love, and we want this country restored back the way it was. Period. Flat out.
All right. All right. Well, you're not going to get that with fuck your feelings. You're not going to get peace, but I appreciate you coming through, man.
You already know. Have a good one.
You too. All right. Look, comments. They good for me and my small business, and that's one of the things I will say is in regards to the job that President Biden is doing. Everybody's not suffering under his watch. I mean, let's be honest. If you want to talk about inflation and gas prices, you've also got to talk about salaries. You got burger flippers out there making almost $20 an hour now. That happened under President Biden's watch. President Biden will be able to say something that I don't think a president in our lifetime has been able to say. And that is the salaries for the average American has increased substantially, certainly at the bottom end where they really need to be, particularly with minimum wage still hovering around the $7 or $8 mark in a hell of a lot of states. Now, in the comments, trending for now too says $20 is no money. Well, if $20 an hour isn't any money, then why the hell are the Republicans arguing against a $15 an hour minimum wage? If you're going to come out and say $20 isn't shit, then what are you giving them? Scraps? Going back to the box. Vass, 3-7. Good. Happy Labor Day to you, Vass. What's up? Vass. Did I get Vass? I got Vass while he is asleep. That's the second time. Vass. I had that gentleman before. The last time, that was the first time I'd ever had a caller on hold and he went to sleep on me. But apparently it did happen again. I'm going to go straight to 52 Cent. Frequent viewer of the program, friend of the program. 52 Cent. Happy Labor Day to you, sir. How are you?
My
52. Good afternoon.
$20 an hour for flipping burgers and they can't get your order right.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
their
is true.
wage has went up, but the cost of a
Well,
Big Mac meals went from $6 to $10.
yeah, maybe you shouldn't eat as many. I'm 300 pounds. Maybe that'll help me not eat as many of them.
Well, I'm down to 210. I don't know. But you mentioned early on when I started listening to you about how Trump's bad tweets. That's what got him in trouble. The bad tweets. The
It's
bad
still getting
tweets.
them in trouble. It's still getting
What
them in trouble.
what about the Biden speech 3 days ago?
Well, that's what we're talking about. That speech has gotten him in a hell of a lot of trouble. There are even Democrats that do not like that speech. Now, multiply Biden's speech times about 100 when you look at Trump's tweets. Imagine if Biden kept doing that, went all over the country holding rallies, giving speeches like that for his entire 4 years in office. That's what we're talking about.
Well, I look at Biden's rallies. He gets less people there than I could fit in a shoebox. And Trump fills stadiums.
Well, let me say
So,
this. Perhaps Biden is not getting as many people at his rallies is because he's not saying inflammatory shit like that. He's boring. Trump is not boring. Trump is inflammatory. So people who are really passionately to the right are going to come out. If Biden gave speeches like he did a couple of days ago at all his rallies, I guarantee you his numbers will go up. Go ahead.
well, I don't know, but I don't care if Trump wins or not.
Okay.
And I've said this to you before. I just don't want a liberal in there. I
Why not?
don't care who we run.
Why not?
I'm against abortion. I think
Okay.
homosexuality is a sin. I don't think everybody should get a participation trophy.
Well,
No,
let me ask you this. Now, you're a Christian. Are you a Christian? Believe in God?
absolutely.
Okay. In regards to homosexuality, I don't want to say your phrase again because I don't want either one of us to get banned. But in regards to how you feel about homosexuality, being a Christian, let me know if I'm wrong on this. I was raised up as a Christian, but I have not been in the religion for quite a while. I still am spiritual, but not totally in that direction. But let me ask you this. I was told that a sin is a sin. Is homosexuality different?
No, a sin is a sin. And if you ask for forgiveness and you don't keep repeating the same sin, God will forgive you. That's how it works.
Okay. So when you take someone like Trump that has supposedly cheated on his wife multiple times, do you not think he's guilty of a hell of a lot of sin as well?
Absolutely. We all are. You
So,
are. I am. There's nobody in your chat that hasn't been
so why are you targeting out the LGBT group but giving him a pass?
because the liberals support that group and the
And you,
conservatives don't.
the conservatives do not support locker room talk that includes damn near felonies.
A sin is a sin. You said it yourself. There's
Yeah.
none of us perfect, but we're not going to stand up with a sign that says, let's kill babies. We're not going to do it. We're,
Okay. All right. It's a little different than I would have thought. I mean, like I said, I was always told a sin is a sin. So if you
a
think
sin
killing
is a
babies,
sin.
okay.
But liberalism by its name means pushing the extreme, leaving the norm. Don't go by the standards, fight the system. That's
Right.
liberalism in its name.
So, okay. So what if the system is oppressive? Should you not fight it because it's the norm?
What do you mean by oppressive? What part of the system are you referring to?
Well, look at the Joe. I'll give it to you in the direction you guys could understand, or folks on the right will be able to understand more. You often point out the belief that Joe Biden is racist, or that Joe Biden passed crime bills back in the 80s and 90s. Should you leave
I
the
don't call anyone racist because I can't see into anyone's heart.
Okay, well, you get the point I'm trying to make. Is that
Right.
the system of the war on drugs that overwhelmingly targeted African Americans has been the norm in this country for decades. Should the progressives leave that in place because it's the norm, or should they push the norms as you suggested?
By norm, I meant, all right, take God's 10 commandments. The
Okay.
further we stray from those, as a nation, the worse we're going to be. And liberals push trying to make transgenderism normal. That is not normal. That is an
So,
abnormality.
so in regards to the further we stray from the Ten Commandments, how do you respond to someone who is not religious when you tell them that?
That's on them. If that's a gamble they're willing to take, I would rather I would rather than not be a Christian and take that gamble. I would rather believe in God 100%. And if I'm wrong, I'm no worse off than you are if you don't
Okay,
believe.
fair enough. Now, here's another way I look at it. The further back you go in America, because folks often say we are straying from religion in 2022. The further back in history you go in America, the more religious of a country we were. We had religion in everything. But if you also notice, the further back in America we go, the more oppressive we were. Even slave masters went to church every Sunday. I often wonder how could you be reading the same Bible we do in 2022 back in the 1800s and think that what you were doing was okay? So that's my problem is that I look at a very religious America of the past and wonder why would anyone want to go back to that?
Well, they used to hang people they thought were witches, or they used to burn them. So I don't know. I, I'm
Right.
not. I'm not at all professing to be a religious scholar, but I
Okay.
am seeing stuff in this country that I know is wrong. It's
Yeah, but
obvious.
if you look at how America's being ran in 2022, and you look at all the wrongs we're doing in this country now, and if you go back to 1822 and you look at all the wrongs they were doing back then when America was overwhelmingly religious, you would have to think America in 2022 is living like heaven compared to back then. If you think things are wrong now, you would have to admit that they were incredibly wrong back then, right?
Have never been a proponent of slavery, but it's been a part of history since history
Well, but
began.
it wasn't just slavery though. 52 women were damn near treated like they are in Afghanistan right now. They weren't treating women very well either. You couldn't. And you're talking about the LGBT community. That was a death sentence back then. So it wasn't just slavery or even blacks, Native Americans. You couldn't represent a different religion. I mean, literally everything about that era, unless you were a white male, was oppressive.
Well, we didn't start out too good, and I will say I, I will say this:
Go ahead.
there
That
are
got me. You got me.
when when we broke away from England, when
Right.
we when we fought for our independence, the first
Okay.
thing we did was kill every Indian we came across. That's the
Right.
first thing we did.
Right.
Um, and every country in the history of mankind has done the same thing. They've occupied a place, they've killed off everything in their way or anything that didn't agree with them, and they took that country over. That being said,
That's like saying that every child abuser started out by grooming a child. That doesn't make it right. Just because they all
no, oh
did it.
no,
Okay.
I'm
Go.
not. No, I'm not agreeing that it's the right thing, but
Okay.
that's how it all started everywhere in the world.
Okay.
Somebody more powerful than somebody else took their land from them.
Okay.
Now, you look at the progression of every country on the planet. The United States has done a pretty good job overall. Our progression to get to where we are in 2022, even though we started out killing everybody that was here,
Right.
we ended up being one of the best countries in the world that defends weaker countries. We've really done a lot of good worldwide. But
We've also done a hell of a lot of bad worldwide too that we don't discuss.
well, why don't we discuss it?
Because it would not make us look good, and we want to be portrayed as the best country on earth. But if we had to tell the truth, like for instance, incarceration for profit, the criminal justice system we're talking about now, the amount of homelessness in this country, the amount of Americans, including veterans, that do not have health care insurance, we start wondering if, in fact, I'll give you an example. 52. I lived in Australia. And I would go to the clubs when all the service guys would come over there. When the Navy ships would come over to Cairns or they would dock in some of the ports, I would go there because my pickup line was, hey, look, I don't have to go home like they do. But one of the things the Australian military guys
That's
would
a
say
pretty
was they
good
were
pickup
there
line,
too.
by the way.
Yeah, thank you. The Australian military guys would say, you guys treat your military personnel like shit because they get better pensions, better food, better health care, all of that. They're like, I would never have served in the military in the U.S. if they treated us like that. So I agree we are a great country. But when you say we've come farther along than most other countries, in terms of first world countries, I don't know if I would totally agree with that.
Well, I'm proud to be an American, but I am
Okay.
not proud of watching women holding up signs saying to suck a baby out of their womb. I don't agree with that. I think that is a degradation that makes us look so weak in this country. It standing
Weak
up
to who? Weak to who? All of the
to
first
the
world countries have
world.
abortion rights. All of the first world countries already have abortion rights. So who are we looking weak to?
No, abortion is murder. You can't explain it any other way. It's there's no other way to explain it. You're killing a baby. And yet
I
you want to yell at
understand.
somebody
Yeah,
you want to
I
yell at
understand the
somebody
point.
that shoots a dog, but you want to kill a baby. That's the
Yeah.
way liberals piss me off. They'll hold up a sign, kill the babies. But the first one that doesn't feed a dog, they want them thrown in jail.
That's a good point. Let me ask you this. In regards to women choosing to terminate the fetuses growing inside of them, do you think it might have any, do you think they may view things any differently if we did things like gave them more time off to have the baby or gave them more help, welfare, and food stamps and weren't trying to demonize them all the time when they needed help? Do you think
Okay.
any of that might help in reducing women's decision to terminate their babies? Because a lot of them, the main thing they cite is finances. And we are pretty strict on people that behave irresponsibly, such as creating a child that you can't afford. And we tend to say you're on your own. So when they're left on their own, they choose to terminate the pregnancy. So if we gave them more help, do you think that might help this situation out some?
See, that's liberal thinking. Give, 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 give. When are we going to take responsibility for the things that we do? It's not your job to pay for my college. It's not your job to pay for my children. That's my responsibility.
Okay.
When are we going to quit saying, what can the government give to me? The government don't owe you a damn thing other than protection and no damn potholes in the road. And they're not doing good with that at all.
So let me ask it to you this way. Let's say a woman is incredibly irresponsible and she pops out 7 or 8 kids that she cannot afford. She is totally irresponsible and you tell her you are going to measure up to your level of irresponsibility. You are responsible for your own damn mistakes. She got 7 or 8 kids she cannot feed. And she cannot get a job because she was also irresponsible education wise and doesn't have a lot of education, and the Republicans are not fans of paying her a decent wage if she's not very intelligent. So what happens to the kids? She can't afford to feed them. In your effort to hold her responsible for her irresponsibility, what happens to her children in the meantime?
That, at that point, is where the government should step in for whatever's best for those children. The mother's on her own. The mother made her bed, she's going to lie in it. But don't punish those children for having a neglectful mother.
So is our goal more or less to punish people? Is that really what we're, if you're irresponsible, is that the
It's not
end goal?
punishment holding you responsible for what you do. That is not a punishment. That is an expectation. If you if you build a house using crappy material and it falls down, that's your fault. You
True.
can't
So let me
blame.
let me let me ask you. I got to move it on 52 as usual. But I want to ask you one question. When somebody says empathy, what does that word mean to you? Empathy.
To have empathy means you have feelings for somebody else or you have concern for the welfare of somebody else.
Okay. So if that mom is irresponsible and she's popped out a bunch of kids, do we have empathy for her?
If she's not taking care of her kids, no.
Okay. What if she can't afford to?
Get your hustle on. You can afford to make those kids. Get your hustle on.
52, you never
Black
disappoint.
China makes 20 million a month on OnlyFans. You know,
You
get a
oh my,
hustle.
you never disappoint, man. I gotta move it on 52. Come
Hey,
on back
happy
in.
Labor Day, my friend.
Hey, you too. Eat some good food for me, man. I'll catch you on the next one.
All right.
52 Cent, folks. He'll be here all day. I always like talking to 52. You're gonna at least get a chuckle out of him. 52 speaks his opinion. 52 speaks his opinion. Let me tell you this, as I say all the time. Regardless if I agree with or disagree with you, I do not ban, I do not block, I do not censor on these broadcasts. So understand that my primary audience of preference is MAGA, but liberals are welcome. You see my name, and the whole goal is to be able to have civil discourse with the other side. So I want you to understand that. I'll go right back to the box. Feel free to follow the channel. Dan Trail, Be Artist, Muralist. Good afternoon. Happy Labor Day
I
to
gotta
you.
give you a look.
What's going on?
Man, today, your, oh my God, your guests have more butts than ashtrays today.
I ain't heard that. Shout out to the late notorious B.I.G. Okay, okay.
But, I'm sorry.
I have to
Never.
call folks on their statements. I have to call folks on their statements, and oftentimes it leads to the first word, but. So, what do you think about sending Biden back? What do you think about sending Biden back in 24?
If he's, let's just be honest, if he's still around, because both of them, both Trump and Biden, are on the wrong side of the hourglass right now. But
Good point.
if so, I'll take, and once again, I hate to tell everyone, I'll take anyone but Trump. I'll take anyone. Beelzebub, Satan, anyone,
So, I have to ask, Dan Trill, I
anyone.
got
I'll
to ask,
take a.
what
Go
has
ahead.
Trump done? What has Trump done that offends you so much that you would prefer Satan over Trump? Give me some things that you think Trump has done or perpetrated that would basically disqualify him from you ever reconsidering him ever again.
Okay, so here's the issue that people don't get. America is an ideal founded on, and supposedly we'll just say de facto founded on principle, founded
Okay.
on freedom, founded on justice, founded on empathy, founded on the fact that we ran away from a tyrannical government to form a government that's not tyrannical, but yet the actions, the presence, the things that the man says and promotes and the way his followers, that is not American. I listened to your last caller say, well, I'm a Christian, and when you asked him what about the people who aren't Christians, well, that's their bad. But Congress shall make no law respecting or an establishment of religion. That's the First Amendment, but they skip over that. They and do Second Amendment things. It's the Second Amendment, this, that, and the other, and all
Yeah.
that. I'm talking about the soul of America.
That's a
And
Biden phrase. That's a Biden phrase. Let me ask you real quick. I'll let you continue.
go ahead.
Louis the Grumpy Trucker. I like the name. He's
Mhm,
stating that my guess is that your guess, meaning you, sir,
mhm.
is one of the 25 people still watching CNN. In other words, you don't know what you're talking about. You're still getting it from a liberal network like CNN. What do you do with something like that?
Uh, now see, I'm gonna sound arrogant. I'm gonna ask them to Google me because of the situation of who I am and what I've done. I've sat and had lunch with the very congressmen and women that they are talking about. I sat in a green room with John Corning, who congratulated me when we did the Juneteenth National Monument. I sat down with Sheila Jackson Lee, who has me on her short list. I know that congressmen do things and women, they do things to pocket their fatten their
Yeah,
pockets. I know this. I know
100%.
this. So I have to look at the overall thing that we can or cannot control. And I am not going to have a man who can't even keep his mouth closed when he's in trouble and keeps getting himself in more trouble with his hand on the nuclear football. I'm
Yeah.
not going to. I'm not going to allow that to happen again.
So give me three things that you think Trump has done or perpetrated that are just simply egregious beyond belief. Three things. President Trump.
Okay, here's an example of something that no one talks about. 2017, he walks in the office and he decides that he's going to undo everything that President Obama did. But here's the problem. One of those things was Obama came up with passed an executive order that the federal government can no longer have contracts with the prison industrial complex. Okay, this was the to knock down federal slavery. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Basically, in the prison system. What did
You're
Trump
talking about
do?
for prison profits. You're basically talking
For
about
prison for profit, yeah.
yeah.
Trump comes
Yeah.
in, he undoes him and Jeff Sessions, they undid it and got government contracts and got the ball back rolling. Where now we have prisons with federal contracts, and there are people in prison working at call centers for free.
Let me interrupt you real quick. Jelly Tab in the comments says that is the example you just gave for profit prisons. He's stating that's one example that really means nothing. How the hell could you if you are a constitution loving right winger, how the hell could you be to the point where you don't think a for-profit incarceration system means anything? That should be even. You talk about liberals being for big government, but you're in favor of that. Go ahead, Patriot. Dead Trail. I don't even know what to say to something like that. That you can defend Trump, but don't be ridiculous, as they used to say on Perfect Strangers. Balky, don't be ridiculous. Go ahead, Dan Trail.
Secondly, there was a team set up, a panorama. What did we have? In other words, I can't believe I'm stumbling over my words over this, but all the
Take your
butts
time.
and I
Take your
mean
time.
some of the people in your comment section are sponsored by Jack Daniels.
Okay. All right. Keep going. Take your time. Take
Let
your
me
time.
keep going. Okay. All right. So we had a pandemic team already in place, and then there was a book and everything. There was instructions left for Trump to follow. He could have shut the country down early enough that it would have stopped some of this, the things that happened that brought us to our knees economically and socially, and divided us and got us sick. And if anything that happens on a president's watch is
So, so you
responsibility
don't
of that
believe
president.
So you
Huh?
you give them you're giving them a poor grade on handling the pandemic, basically.
Yeah, and that's lives. That's lives. I can count.
Yeah.
I can tell 27. I buried 27 from COVID. 27.
Damn, damn,
27.
really? Friends,
27.
family members,
Friends,
friends.
family members, employees, all of that.
Wow. Oh my God. Sorry to hear that, man. Fortunately, I didn't lose anyone close to me from
Mhm.
that virus, disease, whatever. 27 people. In the audience, folks, just give me a number real quick. I'll let you continue, Dentrell, but in the audience,
Mhm.
folks, in the audience, how many of you guys know someone personally that passed away from COVID? Give me the number of people you know that have died from COVID-19. That's what I see in the audience. That somebody saying zero, because I don't know anyone. My cousin's wife or somebody who I didn't know very well passed away from it. But yeah, I do see some numbers popping up. All right, Dan Trill, go ahead. 7 there. Wow. A lot of people are saying nobody, though.
Yeah, well, see, some of them are telling the truth, and others are saying no, zero, because they're not attributing COVID to the death. They're saying, okay, if he had if the COVID raised his blood pressure and caused him to have a stroke, he died of the stroke and not of COVID, but
Right.
COVID raised his blood pressure. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
I get your point.
So,
I get your point.
and
27, though. That's crazy.
the last thing that he's done, if we have to go policy, we'll just stay policy. The
Sure.
last thing that he's done was the on his way out, expecting Mike Pence to bail him
Yeah.
out of losing the election.
Yeah.
Expected, and then give inflammatory rhetoric that they say couldn't control. They saying, okay, well, what Trump said had nothing to do with January 6th because you can't control what people say. But then you're getting on Biden for talking tough, saying he's going to control and divide us.
That's an
Okay, so
excellent point. That's an
uh,
excellent point.
so in retrospect, I'm just going to say this: the butts have to stop on both sides.
I
The
like
bus
that.
have to stop on both sides, man. I mean, if you're guilty of supporting the guy of doing something when you see the other guy doing it, I mean, Trump's whole thing, they will tell you, we love Trump because he talked tough. Okay, so when someone else talks tough back, oh, wait a minute, he hit me back. Come on, grow
Well,
up. I would
fair
say
fair
get a
point.
pair.
Fair point, Detroit. I got to move it on, but I will. I've
Uh-huh.
said that the whole time when people say that, tweets shouldn't matter. You should pay attention to what the president does. I've said that from day one that if Obama gave us the exact same economy Trump was giving us, but he was criticizing Christians and gun owners, those tweets wouldn't matter. Tweets don't matter when they're not aimed at you, but when people are
Exactly.
constantly ridiculing you and talking about you, it does matter. All right, Dentrell, appreciate you coming through, man.
All right.
Enjoy your holiday. All right, going back the comments real quick before we go to the box. Trump and Fox News said COVID-19 was a hoax. Did Fox also say that? Probably Tucker Carlson, I'm assuming. But yeah, Trump spoke the truth. Biden spoke lies. Well, that depends on if you're pro Trump or pro Biden. I mean, Trump said things we know were not true as well. You just dismissed them as not important, such as I don't know who Stormy Daniels was. Well, that's his personal life. Yeah, but it's a lie. It's not true. So Trump did say things that were not true, such as COVID-19 would be gone by April. He said that. That's not true. That's a lie. You just view his lies differently than if you want your doctor, you can keep your doctor from Obama or something that Biden said. So no, they both lie. You just have a different opinion. You're unbiased. You're not biased. You're being biased on the way you view them. Not a single person in this country can fight a damn war except for our military. So just stop. I don't get the point you're making there, sir. Going back to the comments, K Black 53. Happy Labor Day to you, sir. I believe I'm speaking. Never left. Good to hear from you, K Black. Good afternoon.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was expecting a guy. My apologies.
Yeah,
I was
everybody,
I was giving you the
everybody
wrong
does.
pronoun.
Yeah, everybody does that. I followed you once before, then I unfollowed you because I thought you were speaking
Oh,
some crazy stuff. But then I actually
okay.
sat and listened to you, and you're a great host. So
Thank
if
you.
we're speaking honestly here,
I'll let you continue, but before you do, I'm real curious. Let me know what caused you to unfollow me. I want to hear the craziness. Let me hear some of the handsome liberal greatest hits from the crazy file.
well, because at first, and I probably just listened to you briefly, and at first I thought you were a MAGA person.
Okay. All right.
But I
Fair
just
enough.
I just recently found out that you just give space for anybody to come in here and voice their opinions.
True. True. Okay. All
Okay, so
right.
I just found
So,
that out kind of recently.
okay, fair point. So, Biden in 2024, is that a good idea?
No,
Why
I
not?
mean, okay, I voted for Biden because I didn't want Trump in there, but Biden, Trump, or any other old white man, I feel like we don't need as president. We need to move forward. It's time to let these old white men in government go. These are some of the same white men that put forth ridiculous policies in the past that left a lot of us behind. So I think we should move forward. That's the point of progression. Move forward. Let's get all these old white men
So
out of
you're
office.
okay. So you're screening for an episode of No Country for Old White Men. So let me give me an age limit. What age limit you think we should? Obviously, you believe there should be a cutoff, unless you're okay with old black men doing it. But
Oh,
if you're
old
saying
black men too. Old
okay,
people. Period.
all
Okay,
right.
and
So
I'm a
give
old,
me
and I'm an older person, but I just feel like maybe 65 or 70
60.
should be the cutoff point. Yeah,
Okay, all right. That well 70. Okay, that's fair. So because
65
what
to
was Biden?
67, I think.
65. I think a large portion of the viewers would also probably agree with that, with the exception of people who just want Trump back. But after Trump is gone, I think most people, even in the MAGA aisle, would be because they going after Mitch McConnell and a lot of older members on their side as well and saying the same thing. So if Biden didn't come back in 2024, and I know you lean left, who do you think would be a decent candidate to put forward?
Probably like a Pete Buttigieg or um.
What about Gavin Newsom?
Oh, I love Gavin Newsom. I'm from
Gavin.
California.
But
Um,
you from California?
yes, I am.
How do you think? What do you think about the way that state is being ran under Newsom?
I love it. I love it.
What
Yes,
city
I
are
do.
you in? I'm curious. What part of California are you from?
I'm from Inglewood, California.
Oh, so you're from the LA area then.
Yes, I am.
What's up with all the tents? Everybody camping all of a sudden there?
Let me tell you something. Okay, so yes, we do have a homeless problem, but I think the government failed them. It's a lot of people that's on the street that want to be there because of their mental health issues. It's not, some of them they're offered homes and they go to those homes and then they leave them because they don't want to follow the rules because of whatever the mental health screenings they have to do. I think we just failed them as a country, most of our veterans. I don't think a lot of veterans, some of them, yeah, we do have high housing
Yeah, but
prices out here. It is,
I have to ask you if you're suggesting that the government, our nation's government, failed all of those homeless people in California. How do you respond to the claims that there's a lot of other states in this country operating under the same federal government that does not have that type of a homeless problem?
which states are those?
Most of, I don't know. Is there any state that has a homeless problem to the degree of? I'm from Illinois. We have some homeless in Illinois, but it don't look like that. I'm in Wisconsin often. I'm in Iowa often. There's a lot of states that do not have the tent camps of California.
Okay, well, I don't think that I saw in the comments. I think a lot of people travel here because it's California, because they can
True.
camp out where they can camp. I mean, they can basically camp out on the beach. You know what I'm saying? Near the beach.
Okay.
I went to
Okay.
Malibu not too long ago. Hell, if I was homeless, that's where I would camp out too, by the beach. I
Okay.
mean, California is large and wide, so you know
What about the cost of living there in California?
the
Think
cost of
that they
living
have any?
in California is fucking ridiculous. Yes, it is
Yeah.
ridiculous. But
Okay.
like I said, I've been born and raised here, so I've adapted. I've gotten
So
better
do you
jobs.
do
I
you believe? So you do believe Gavin Newsom is a good governor of that state?
I do I still do believe that. Yes,
Okay. All right.
I
Well,
think he would
Gavin
make a great
Newsom
president.
is.
I think
Yeah,
he
he
would make a
does look
great
like he's
president.
making a. He does look like he's making a play for that office, but I'm just going to tell you, even though, and I see it in the comments, folks are pointing out Seattle and Portland. There are other places that have homeless problems, like you were saying, but that they're going to bring that up. That's going to be in commercials and everything if Gavin Newsom decides to run. So, if they are indeed being failed by the government, Gavin Newsom is going to have to come up with a way of suggesting that under his administration, if he wins, they will address that. He's going to have to make some strong points because it does look bad. And I also understand the weather of California incentivizes people who are homeless to come there because you can live outside quite far more easy than you can in, say, Illinois, where I'm from. So I can see that, but he's going to have to explain how he can get us out of that because otherwise people are looking at Gavin Newsom and saying we don't want to be like California.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly with your cost of living. Why is the cost of living ridiculous like that out there? Is that something else he can't control?
Um.
Gas prices?
Well, we've always been more on the expensive side just because we're California. But you also have to realize that we supply a lot of the federal funding for other states as well. So maybe we should stop funding so many
Yeah.
of these red states and focus on the economy in California to help the cost of living and the homelessness and whatever else. Maybe that's what we should do. We're
Let
we're
me ask
really
this
we're
question. I'm not from, I've been to California many times, but I've never lived there. But in regards to the cost of living, is the salaries there higher? Like, what is the minimum wage in California? Do
I
people
think
get
they did.
paid more to live there?
Yeah, I think they raised it recently. Was it this year or last year to $15 an hour?
Okay, because $15 an hour in California is a hell of a lot less than it is in Idaho or somewhere. So I would assume if housing costs so much there, gas, price of goods and services and things like that, that their base salary should be a lot higher. At least I would think that.
Yeah, it should. But again, like I said, if we would stop funding all these other states, maybe we could focus more on the California residents.
Okay. So no Biden. no Trump, perhaps Newsom or Buttigieg. What about Buttigieg? And I mean, obviously, you heard my. I don't know if you were on listening a couple callers ago, but I had a guy talking about LGBT stuff as a sin. Obviously, Buttigieg, that's going to come up. You think he could survive that?
I think he can. I think we need to move forward. I think we should be a progressive nation. No more making America great again whenever it was great. Moving backwards is who in their life. If you're working a great job, who in their life want to go back to what they were making 10 years ago? Why do we want to move backwards? Why are we trying to move forward?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this. For and there's no way to deny this, but for some people in this country, things were better back then. I mean, if you got to share everything with everybody else, then I want to go back to the time when I didn't have to worry about y'all. So it could be some of that in there. You get my point?
Yeah, I get your point.
Okay. All right, K Black. Well, I do got to move it on.
Oh, you didn't let me say what I really wanted to say.
Oh, girl, make it happen then. Let me hear it.
I was coming on here to say that people who are clamoring for Trump, I just want to know what did he do to make their life better? Because I can name at least five or six pieces of legislation that Biden has passed that will help everybody, but they're
Give
just
them to
focused
me.
on
Give them to me. Let me hear them. Let me hear them.
okay. He everybody all the Republicans was against the Veterans Pact Act, the lowering insulin and healthcare costs, um,
Was there
the
any pork in that? Were they
infrastructure.
against that bill, or was there some pork in there?
If it was some pork in there, why didn't they counteract it and make it better and then pass it? Why did they just vote against it blindly just because Biden was putting it forward, just because his
Okay.
administration was putting it forward? I mean, there's been 9.5 million new jobs created. The infrastructure plan, his tax the rich. Come on, we don't want these people to pay their fair share. We just want to be on the bottom, always paying for them to keep getting richer and richer off of us. What has Trump done that make them say, "Oh, we want Trump because he talked tough"?
Okay. Well, some of the stuff that you're giving Biden credit for, Trump could, because you mentioned, well, what has Trump done for them? Well, they're going to bring up the jobs numbers under Trump were exceptionally well too. In fact, before Biden came along, he had some historic job numbers. Biden has just beat those numbers. So the
What
inflation in the
did
economy,
his historic job numbers, was that a leftover from Obama though?
yeah, he certainly inherited a good economy from
Yes, he
Obama,
did.
no
Yes, he
doubt
did.
about it. But if you look at the economy under Trump, after inheriting that good economy under Biden, it got even better. So Trump has to get credit for that. He could have ruined the economy. He didn't do that.
Okay, what else?
Okay. Well, they like the wall. Obviously, on the liberal side of the aisle, we don't. They like what he did to strengthen the border because they believe illegal immigrants are bad for their bottom line as well.
Did he strengthen the border? Because I don't remember that wall being built. I remember Bannon spending a lot of money for the wall to be built, to be completed.
Well, he certainly made it harder for them to come over here, legally or otherwise. The amount of illegal immigrants coming into this country under Trump took a dip. At first, there were caravans of them coming, but when they found out how they were going to be treated, the numbers did dip under Trump, and they look at that as a positive.
And so we don't want immigration. Okay, we don't want illegal immigration.
They don't want immigration at all from those countries. I'm
See, and
just going to be honest. Yeah, they
that's some.
tell you, yeah, if you talk to MAGA, the statement is we're okay with immigrants. We just don't want them to come here illegally. But I'm going to tell you from my analysis and from what Trump was doing, they don't want you here legally or otherwise.
And I have
So
a yeah,
as
and I have
far
a
as yeah, as
problem with
far as
that.
they're concerned, yeah, as far as they're concerned, Trump was doing a good job with that. What about the notion that Trump was bringing soldiers home and there were not any major conflicts around the world breaking out under Trump? They also suggest that.
Oh, because he was in bed with him. That's why. I mean, I
Uh,
do. And true, I don't like. We always starting wars where we shouldn't even be involved. I mean, but that's the UN thing. I'm not really into that. But yeah, I can agree with that. But he did. They love to bring up the 13. Um, soldiers that was
It's,
killed
yeah,
being, but
yeah.
69 or 67 soldiers died under Trump. They don't ever bring that up.
67 soldiers died how?
Was that in when he tried when he what was it dealing with Ukraine?
I'm not aware of this.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to look that up and come back. But
Okay, yeah, I have
I
not
know,
heard of that.
yeah, I
I,
know
I absorb a
67.
lot of right wing. I absorb a lot of right wing and left wing media, and I would assume if 67 of them died under Trump, the left wing media has not been pointing that one out at all because I have not heard of
Yeah,
that.
it
So,
did
but
happen. I got to look it up and remember where that happened.
okay, all right, fair point.
Okay,
What
he
else you
said it
got?
was 67, it was 68 killed in Afghanistan. That was about it. I'm just saying that, they make it seem like Biden is not doing anything. I'm not a Biden lover, but I'm damn sure not a Trump lover with all his rhetoric and this white replacement therapy. Just get over it. The country is moving forward. There's going to be minorities here, and it is the way it is. We're not going to be all white America again. We're not going to do that.
I agree with you. I hope you're right because I'm not white.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, anytime, come on back if you see me in here. This time, maybe you won't unfollow me, girl. Good talking to you.
I won't. Thank you.
All right, good talk. Okay, uh, to the box. Oh my God, that's crazy, says Darla. Listen, the woman stated her opinion. I don't think she said anything that was crazy. You may disagree with it. I get a lot of MAGA folks on here that I do not agree with as well. But yeah, I try to avoid calling folks crazy. Come on now, Darla. Looking in the comments, were they killed from battle or being left? There is a difference. Yeah. Okay, fair point. I don't disagree with that. But what if the battle was an unnecessary battle? I mean, how many folks did we lose in Iraq? About 6,000. That battle wasn't necessary. That was an optional war that we didn't need to get in. And looking back from 2022, is there anything that you can say legitimately that we gained from the invasion of Iraq? Bin Laden was found in Pakistan. So I don't know. Okay, look, Trump started a war right here in America. Now that who said that? Damn, that's a hell of a comment. The parish clown. Okay, the crazy ass name, but when you look at the outrage from the Black Lives Matter riots and things like that in 2020, and then obviously we have to take in consideration whatever the hell you want to call it that happened on January 6th compared to what we have seen from the first 2 years of President Biden, there's no denying that tension wise, things have calmed down. There's a hell of a lot of people that dislike Biden. I get that. But yeah, the rioting and things like that, yeah, it's far less significant under Biden than it was under Trump. They were so pissed off at Trump, they started naming streets and shit after Trump or after Black Lives Matter. I mean, there's a street in D.C. leading right up to the White House called Black Lives Matter Plaza. Going to the box says because Republicans aren't crazy like the left. Lent or Lynn rather, if you think Republicans are not crazy like the left, I guess you didn't see that dude dressed as a Viking walking around the Capitol building. Woo, that hat and mustache looking good on your boy. Appreciate that. Much love. All right, going right back to the box. Republicans are not crazy like the left. Okay, got me with the shades on. All right, Vass. That is for Vass. Good. Hope you're having a nice Labor Day. Hope you are a Vass. Okay, Vass. That guy calls me. It's always good to talk to Vass, but he does seem to call sometimes when he's asleep. Let's go straight to Gringo. Gringo Willie, friend of the program we for. Sleeping in the middle of the day, Vass. All right, Gringo, talk to me.
Hey, hey, how are
Good
you?
evening or good afternoon.
You're looking
I'm
you're
doing
looking
good.
good
Happy Labor Day
outside.
to you. Oh,
Excellent,
I'm trying to
excellent.
trying to walk some of this belly off. I walk a few miles, sit, talk, walk a few miles.
Good job. Well, I
Thank you.
I retired in Costa Rica, so I'm not in the U.S., so we don't have the Labor Day here. That's
Oh, sir.
back in May here.
But do
So
they give you things like? Well, you retired over there, but do they? What about your citizens over there with social programs? Do they get health care over there?
absolutely, I do too. You pay a
You
monthly
get,
fee. Nothing's free. Nothing's free.
but what's the?
Everybody
Thank
that's
you for that.
everybody's retired here. is part of the national health care system and non-deductible, not like my Social Security now. I've got deductible in Social Security if I use that, but you can't use that here. But if you use the
What
national
about
health care here,
let
no
me ask you
deductible.
this, their healthcare system for their citizens compared to our healthcare system for our citizens? Which one you think is better for the citizen?
Well, to be candid with you, I was an army brat for 18 years, and so I
Oh,
had national health care when I was in the U.S. So, military health care, we already have a system. I don't know if they could, make that happen with the public, but I think a small country like Costa Rica, there's only 5 million people. I mean, that's like that's like a small
yeah,
state.
but they still got to pay
In
for it,
Florida, we
even
got
though it's
20.
less. Yeah, but even though they got far less people than us to insure, they also have far less people than us to tax to pay for the insurance.
Absolutely. But
But
everybody
they're
pays
able
a
to make it
monthly
happen.
fee. Yeah,
What is the
everybody pays a monthly fee.
what is that fee?
It it depends on how much you make. It
So
depends
it's
on
one
how
of
much, like
those.
if, for example, if you retired here and you made, let's say you had a pension of a couple $1,000s, you'd pay a percentage of that uh, every month, but it wouldn't be anything near insurance. Anything. It's
So in other words, it
insurance in the United States or
yeah. So in other words,
Obamacare.
their
Look, if I,
system.
I I wanted to go back and live in the States for a little bit, but I couldn't. I was so happy when it came to be a national health care. It would cost me over $1,000. It would cost me more than the insurance that I was buying before. So when I retired, I said, "Wow, I can pay less than it's for, for the what do you call it? That section of
Yeah.
Social Security that you get medicine and
So
everything.
there. So in
I
other
can pay
words,
less than that and
okay.
have full
Okay.
coverage. I've
So
got 4 operations already here."
all right. So in other words, their system is making the wealthy pay their fair share. They're treating you differently if you got plenty of money versus somebody who has very little money. Is that
Yeah,
what
I
you're
mean,
saying?
there's some people. A lot of people pay, like $40 a month. A lot
Yeah.
of the citizens.
The poor people.
But the people that make more money, they're going to pay more. They're going to pay a percentage of their earnings. But that's okay because there's a lot less. Now, a lot of the rich people here, we can't get everything from the rich people because the rich people are only a few percent of any population. They're
Right.
the royal class. You don't have enough people. People think that they can get tax the rich, and there's not very many of them. So what they
Yeah,
do,
but
even
wait a minute.
they
Wait a
are
minute. Let me.
members of
Okay.
the
Wait. Wait.
they're the
Let me get
members
in
of the
here.
program.
All right.
But go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, when you say there's not as many rich people, I agree with that. But if you take someone like Jeff Bezos, you could get thousands of me and not get enough money out of me to equal the taxes you get percentage wise from one Jeff Bezos. So there doesn't have to be as many of them when they're making it, when the disparity in income is that great. Would you not agree?
Well, I'm not an expert, but I feel like there's a cap. There's a cap. You think that they're gonna get millions of dollars from these people, but there's a cap. I'd have to go and see the details because I'm certainly not in that level. But anyways, those people, they hardly ever go to the national healthcare system. It's like when I was younger, when I was younger in the States, I remember some city hospitals would take people with no insurance. It would be free. It'd almost be like universal health care. I mean, they'd go to the emergency room and they'd get taken care of, and people would write off the bill. So it's similar to that. The people that are really rich go to the private hospitals
Yeah.
here and private
Nothing you can do
doctors.
about that.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
there's nothing
saying?
you can do about that. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. So let me ask
Yeah,
you a question in regards to our topic. First of all, do you get to vote in our elections here now that you're over there? You still vote in our elections, right?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely.
How do you guys down there view President Biden compared to President Trump?
Well, personally, I'm 70, so I think I couldn't even imagine. I haven't worked for 20 years, so I haven't even imagined how I could be a president. I mean, it's probably just me, but I'm a musician, so probably I don't even have that
Okay.
mindset. But at 70 years old, I mean, things happen. I mean, things start popping up. I mean, getting into your
Right.
60s and stuff like that. And I think that we need somebody your age. You look like you're about maybe 50, 48, 50, 45,
Yep.
45 to 55, 45 to 55 people that have the energy, the majors in the military, the people that like a Gabby. I like Gabby, and I'm an independent, and I've told you that before.
Gabby Gibb. She's a
I'm an
woman without a
independent,
party.
and
Yeah,
Gabby, I
Gabby is
like
a
Gabby. I like Gabby.
Gabby's a woman without a
I
party.
I
But
like Gabby.
the question I was asking you though is how do they view in regards to President Biden being in office right now versus when Trump was in office down in that area? Who do you like? Who you got supporting as commander in chief here? Were you more supportive of Trump, or are they more supportive now that he's gone and we got Biden?
Well, I certainly can't speak for the 70 or 80,000 retirees here from the United States. I certainly can't talk to them because
Okay.
it would be unfair. I have talked to separate. It's like you go. I go into the donut shop in the U.S. and I think you'd find the same thing. You'd find some people that just are fans of Trump. Uh, Otherwise, there are people oh, I'm so glad that there's a Democrat in the office, But if you're a conservative like me, um, and if I was a fan of the show, I never voted for Trump, but I was a fan of I was a manager at the time, way back then,
Hmm.
when he was that television show. I was a fan of his show,
The
definitely.
Apprentice, The
I was a fan.
Apprentice, yeah.
So
So
it was enjoyable. I enjoyed watching him, say
do
all
you see
sorts of stuff. I
do
mean,
you see
it was kind
do
of a
you see
laugh.
MAGA flags? Do you see MAGA flags or anything? Does anybody show support like in terms of flags and things like that down there for Trump?
No, no,
No.
no.
All
I
right.
think many people come here, and we've seen more younger people coming here now because they've got a system where you can work online here and you can get your residency, and that's something
Okay.
new. It's people are coming down young with children and stuff like that, and I'm seeing a lot of those in groups that are talking about they want to escape the United States.
Yeah,
And I
I
said,
wouldn't doubt
hell,
that.
man, I'm down here because I can't afford to live in the United States. I would live in the United States tomorrow if I could afford it.
How long ago did you
Of course,
leave?
I like 70 degrees all the time. Huh?
How long ago
20
did you
years ago?
leave? Oh, you've been gone. So you've been
20
gone
years ago.
since that would have been what, the Bush administration you left?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
I can't remember because
What?
I'm not very political.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, 20 years ago would have been 2002, and Bush came in office in 2000, so that would have been 2 years into his term. So you really like it
Yeah.
down there. Where are you from in the U.S.? What part of the U.S. did you live in before going down there?
Well, I'm a military brat. Like I told
Oh,
you,
so you've been
18 years.
everywhere.
I spent 18 years in the service, buddy. Went to
Okay.
West Point camp, but it was summer camp. It wasn't West Point.
Wow. So you fought for
No,
this
I was just a
country.
spoiled. I was spoiled officer's kid, man. Military cop, military
So you
chief of police.
it's crazy. You fought for this country, and the minute you could retire, you took your home elsewhere because you couldn't afford to live here.
Well,
Wow, that's crazy.
can't afford. I couldn't afford to live it. Like I said, I wanted to come back because I love the beaches and stuff in the states and stuff, but I just can't afford it. I mean, pay $1,000 for healthcare a month when I can get it for. I'm not going to tell you, but I don't want you guys to cry or feel bad.
So
I don't.
let
I
me
don't want to
think
spoil
it-
people's
let me ask you this. Let
minds.
me ask you since you mentioned $1,000 for healthcare. Let me ask you this: why do you think, with healthcare being that expensive, there are so many Americans that are against the universal healthcare plan?
I just think it's rhetoric. I think it's people are controlled by programming and people. A lot of times people wake up and say, "What the hell am I do? What the? Why wouldn't I want health care, man? I'm poor." You know. I guess because
Yeah.
conservatives, people that are against abortion, people that are conservatives like I am, that they wouldn't vote for a Democrat because of all you know the things that go against our type of beliefs. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay, Costa Rica, huh? I've never been down there. I lived in Australia for a while, but I've never been down there. Is that Central America or is that's Central America, right?
Yeah, Nicaragua is the
Yeah.
country that's kicked out all the Catholic nuns, and they've just arrested a bishop. So it's kind of fun down here. And Panama,
How
of course,
easy
is
was
always
it?
one.
How easy is it to migrate there and live there legally? What does it take to get residency there? Like, how long does it take? How easy is it to get in there?
Okay. Well, first off, you can't have a bad guy record. You
Right.
can't have any kind of police record because they check
Right.
that. And you have to make a certain amount of money. You have to bring in per month a certain amount of money. I think for retirees, the minimum you can have is $1,000. And if you have a
So in other
thousand
words,
dollar
no. In other words, no welfare and
retirement, you
food.
can say
Yeah. So in other words, no welfare and food stamps for immigrants.
anybody that is. It's like that city hospital in the U.S. Anybody that has a problem, doesn't matter how much you make or whatever, you're going to get help in a city hospital. And the
Okay.
same thing down here. Anybody's going to get help. Now they'll give you a bill at the end of it, but they don't chase you. It's like City Hospital sent the bill too, right? But they never chase
Right.
them. They never chase
Right.
people. So it's similar situation. They're gonna, I think, in many places in the United States too. I mean, if a person's on the floor, I mean, you're gonna help them. You know what I mean? I think every
Right.
in here too. I mean, if you have a problem, if you don't have any food, I mean, there were some people that were caught in a flood, and the people came by with boxes of food for everybody. They didn't see who you were or if you were from. We have a lot here. We have a lot of people that are illegally with no papers from Nicaragua. Because
Do
they're
they?
running away for they're searching for asylum here.
So look at it in the comments. American Woman asked the question: do they have strict borders down there? What is their? Do they have an immigrant problem, or do they have? Are their borders pretty secure down there from neighboring countries
They
like
have an
Nicaragua?
immigrant problem. They have an
They
immigrant
do.
problem, and they have very strict borders. But they have a lot of Africans from Africa. They come across the sea, and they go across Latin America. And man, they go through Colombia to Panama. They go through the I forget the name of it. It's a gap. Matter of fact, there used to be cannibals there back. My father was a provost marshal down there years ago, and they
Damn.
had cannibals down there in that in Panama. So these people walk all the way through by walking up through Panama, through Costa Rica, through Nicaragua, through Guatemala, through Honduras and Guatemala, through Mexico to the United States. There are thousands of people right now in Costa Rica waiting to go to the United States.
Wow.
Cubans. So there's lots
Okay.
of people, and the people try to take care of. Matter of fact, in Venezuela, since that problem, they have like about hundreds of people sleeping on the streets in the capital city, San Jose, and the police come
All
by and give
right.
them food, and you know. So
That's
it's the
good.
same problem
Okay. So
everywhere.
right, no different than this. All right, Gringo. Well, I do got to move it on, man. Appreciate you coming through. I can't say Happy Labor Day to you since you're not enjoying it, but good to talk to you,
Well,
man.
I'm still a Yankee man. See
All
you
right.
later.
Fair enough. Okay. Look at comments. Trump literally says the fascist left in their cities in every speech. You know, I was taken back by that as well. And I'll go right back to the box, but I was taken back by that as well, with folks complaining that Biden's speech was divisive. Was Biden divisive? Yeah, yeah, he was. He targeted MAGA, said all kinds of horrible things about MAGA. But the notion that we should treat Biden's speech somehow like that's not the norm, when Trump was calling everyone socialist, red state, blue state, Baltimore's a shithole. I mean, I would assume that by now we should kind of be used to divisive speeches, right? Let me go to William Dara in the comments. Okay, William, why don't they just stop? It's a good point. William, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and yourself? Happy holiday to you.
Happy Labor Day. I'm out here on the road working. Well, I'm on my 34-hour restart though, but still I'm away from home.
Oh, I'm glad to have you here. So, Biden in 2024, would that be a good idea?
Me personally, no, but I can have a healthy debate though.
Okay, would you support a resurgence of Trump? Is Trump the right guy to bring back?
Yes and no.
That don't sound good. Yes and no. Give me yes. Give me some reasons why you say yes.
Well, I really don't really. He's getting up there. We need some new ideas and stuff like that. And
You
age
sound like
wise,
yeah. You sound like my last caller. But let's say it actually does come down to Trump and Biden in 24. Would you even cast a ballot in that election, or would you pick one of those gentlemen?
I'll pick Trump.
Okay. Wow.
But
Okay. Fair enough.
there like this is like everybody. Like there's some things, there's some good things, and there's some bad things. There's good apples and bad apples. You know, and like policies.
Right.
Me
What about the?
as a mod, me
Go
as a
ahead.
moderate Republican, and I'm from Silver Springs. I was born in Silver Springs, Maryland,
Okay.
and
All right.
whatever's going on in D.C. it hits home. It
Yeah, you're
really
real close.
does,
Real close. Yeah, you're real close.
right there on the
So,
border.
being as close as you were to DC, do you hold Trump accountable at all for what took place on January 6th? Do you think any of that is his fault?
No, not Trump, but some of the people. It's a
When you
it
say-
was a choice. It was their choice to walk in the federal building like they did.
Okay.
It was their
What about
choice to commit crimes.
what about the idea that he stated he won the election by a landslide? Do you believe he had a legitimate reason to say that?
Yeah, because previous elections and stuff, then Bush, because Bush had a recount. Our
Okay.
elections were basically said and done the night of, not 4 or 5 days later.
Yeah,
And
but
that,
you're you're suggesting that the election may have not been held properly. But it's a difference between having an election where there's some fraud in it potentially and an election where he won by a landslide. Where is the evidence that he actually won by a landslide?
man, I'm just a normal citizen. I don't know that. I'm not an investigator.
Okay.
I'm out here. I work my money. I hear, I listen to everybody, left, right. I'm a moderate Republican, so I'm kind of like tipsy, like a teeter totter, and I'm in the middle.
All
That's
right.
how I feel. Um, I listen to both sides, and I make my own decisions.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, and that's
two
and that's what
people.
I'm saying. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Uh, this is my first time doing live, so I'm kind of a little
That's okay.
nervous, but
It's all good. It's all good. Take your time, man. So let me ask
right
you
on.
this: when you say you did your homework, you listened to both sides. Give me something that you believe that Trump produced that makes you feel confident he won by a landslide.
I want to say sovereignty. Uh, I just don't see any good coming out of this. I give you an example.
Sure.
I don't know if this might answer your question though, but my personal feeling that I see in previous commercials, elections, I see the Democrat Party did that. Republicans going to push grandma over the cliff. Me personally, I think their own party pushed Biden over the cliff because it's elderly abuse, man. That's how I feel. I feel that you listen to Biden, and I had I had family like Biden that was on this game, and on not days that they were not. And
Okay. Wait. I get your point that you're not a Biden fan or that the liberals may have lied in campaign commercials, but I'm asking you, what led you to believe Trump won by a landslide?
everywhere I see Trump flags, everywhere I see advertisements. I talk to people out here on the road, truck driver. I ran into Biden people too. Don't get me wrong, but the majority of us basically Trump supporters. And even in Chicago, where I work out of, that's where my yard's at, Chicago. I talked to them. Most of them are Trumpsters. I, I really can't. I like I said, man, I'm a little nervous. So
That's all good. It's all good. Okay, so you're gauging the fact that what you've seen with your own eyes, apparently it appears that there are far more people supporting Trump than Biden. What about the notion that a lot of Biden supporters were not actually enthusiastic with Biden enough to do the same thing in terms of flags and all of that, but were just simply folks who did not like Trump, which is why they don't have all of they're not as outspoken as Trump supporters, but they just didn't like Biden. Is that not possible?
uh no, because support who you support. Be proud of it. Go out there and flaunt it, advertise it. If you wasn't so enthusiast, like you said, enthusiast,
Yeah.
why won't you let them vote for somebody that you're not happy with?
Well,
Because
you
you
ever
just
heard?
have a D, you have to vote Democrat. Now, I'm Republican, I vote Democrat twice in the state of Ohio for governor, Ted Strickland,
Okay, let me ask you this: have you ever heard of the phrase "the lesser of two evils"?
every day.
Okay, so what if you're voting for the lesser of two evils, whereas you're not enthusiastic about either one, but you just vote for Biden because you think he's the lesser of two evils? You really think they should go around flaunting that?
We did with Trump. Why can't they do it with Biden?
Well, you didn't think Trump was the lesser of two evils. You thought Trump was a great guy and the right man for the job. The Biden supporters probably do not feel as confident about Biden. They just feel that much confident that Trump should be gone.
Well, that's what you got me.
Okay,
See,
fair point.
because I
All
say,
right, not a
yeah,
problem.
I do. People turn around. I did listen to people saying I hate Trump so much. I want him gone. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna vote for. I'm gonna vote for Biden because I hate. I have all this hatred, hate, 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 and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, hate, hate, hate. I don't hate Biden. I honestly don't hate Biden. I dislike him, but I don't believe that's hate. Is that correct?
yeah. Have you never heard of a Republican say ABC, anybody but Clinton? They were doing that during the Clinton administration as well. Anybody but Clinton. You never heard that before?
Yeah, but wouldn't you think that'd be like I don't speak the whole. I don't speak for 100% of the Republican Party, so there's got to
Fair
be some
point.
groups here and
Yeah.
here, there, over
Okay, that's
there.
a fair point. That's a fair point. I just wanted to make it clear that it's not just coming from the left. The same thing with Trump. When Governor Kemp was not doing very well, Trump went down there and started supporting Stacey Abrams just because he didn't want Governor Kemp in office because Governor Kemp didn't support him in the election issue, and that's a Republican governor of Georgia.
Not every
Right.
Republican likes everybody, even their own party. I mean, I like DeSantis, but I don't like Governor Kemp. Who else? Oh yeah, I didn't even like Governor Kasich
Okay.
of my state.
All right.
I
Okay.
I don't know if you're from Ohio, but I'm just speak. I
I
live.
see that.
I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, so
Well, you did one. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, listen, man, I got to move the program on. Do
can
appreciate
I
you coming
can,
through.
can I hit on one thing?
Sure.
The
Go ahead.
lady, a couple callers before, a lady turned around and said that not every or all the Republicans hate something about
Yeah.
the veterans,
Okay.
the dump. There, some of that in that bill that had to do with military safety. I can't remember if it was like like an infirmary or inferno or like a dump, like burning trash.
I'm not aware of that.
There was
I'm kind of.
it was in the bill that Biden signed with all that pork in it. It had something to do with military safety, but I support. No,
You talking about the burn pits? You talking about the burn pits?
there you go. My bad. Thank you. The burn pits. No,
Yeah.
I support that. I
Okay.
support that 100% because that's our military.
Well, it was a lot of pork in the bill, and that's why some Republicans didn't support it. But I get that. All right, well, listen, I do got to move it on, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Hey, I'll talk to you again.
Absolutely. Good talk.
Have
All
a
right.
nice day.
All right, you too. Have a good holiday. All right, folks, as you can see, I'm in a vehicle. I do got to get out of here. Hopefully, you have a wonderful holiday. You guys have rode with your boy this whole time. You could be anywhere you want, but you're here with me. Catch you later.